most of the tools aren't perfect. They have their blind spots and they have their things that they're really good at and things that they're not so good at. So it's about creating workflows, about maybe chaining together 2 or 3 tools that fill in the weak spots of another one. So like I said earlier, Gemini is really good for being my architect and creating understand the bigger picture because there's the full context of the code base. It's going to handle such a large context. The windsurf is using Claude to be underneath the hood. So I'm going to execute on this plan that Gemini has made. So it's kind of testing out the different LLMs and the different tools. And the thing is, there's like limitless combinations of this now. So it's not the easiest thing, but finding one that works for your workflow, because every developer kind of does things very, very differently.
As somebody who would try to become an AI native developer, do you recognize 2 or 3 pitfalls that you think they should be wary of?
This is probably something that I do, is try out every single tool and get lost in every single rabbit hole. But a lot of it is noise. Things are not sticking around, especially with how fast the area is moving.
Really?
Some news that comes out this week could no longer be relevant in a month. So I'd say if you have limited time, and most people do your work in a job, and there's only so much time you can dedicate outside of your actual role to learning this stuff, it's kind of the big beats that are repeated again and again, like in media, whether your social media choice is Twitter or YouTube or Discord. There are things that get repeated again and again. Claude code is big, cursors. So when cursor was popular, it was the thing that everyone was talking about. Same thing with windsurf and Claude code. And I think going by the crowd, because you can't really do this alone, keep up with it. I think generally that's a good rule of thumb to go with a good choice of tooling.
Where do you see yourself in building that company? Like, how would you rate your AI adoption? Keen to get some color on this.
Sure. We founded sort of 8 months ago. So, at that point, Cursor was a thing. Yeah. We were already on like the sort of Claude 4 level models. We were really sort of founded in the very recently. And as such, I guess since the sort of first day of the company, we've been using frontier models. But I think
so. From day one, you're AI native.
From day one. But I think the surprising thing is almost how little we use AI. As in, depends on what your perspective is, but all of our code goes through editors like Cursor, and we use it to augment our development processes. We build a lot of our dev tools with AI and run them. But besides that, and also help around planning, structuring, emailing, and things like that, there is still quite a lot of manual processes within the company. And I think that's quite surprising to people, because people in legacy companies understand that things are very manual. People think that frontier startups coming out of, for example, Y Combinator are just entirely automated. And there are some companies in my batch and in batches around our company that are doing sort of multiple millions of dollars with a couple of people at the company. They are managing to do more with less, but I think it's not quite what people think it is right now, which is that you just have fully autonomous agents running around doing integral parts of the company. It's more like people are being augmented and able to output more, but there are still these sort of annoyances and human parts of the company. So I don't think necessarily we are where we should be as a company. That could be fully autonomous agents that go and do things for us.
Are you doing this more as a guardrail or as a necessity? So are you injecting that human in the loop because you care about security and you care about reliability, or it's because it's actually not even possible just yet to have it fully autonomous?
I think because our role, I think, as humans now, as engineers, as people running companies, is to inject the taste. And so I don't just want to let Cursor spit out garbage code. I want it to, because it can output millions of tokens very quickly, right? And not all of that is high quality. So I want to inject my taste on top of what the model outputs and steer it.
Here we're building the AI native dev landscape.
Yeah.
It's a repository of tools, open source, private, whatnot, that try to essentially repertoire everything into one big mapping, and also try to fix that, or be part of the solution of there's so much happening.
Yeah.
There's so much noise. How do you make sense of this noise? How do you approach actually all these emerging tools, and how do you pick them as a CTO?
Sure. I think word of mouth is huge. We look at companies that we respect and we see what software they use. And so that's how we came across Linear, for example. That's how we came across Mintlify.
Yeah.
And these other core components that make up our stack. The word of mouth, if you're in the startup ecosystem, you look at the high performance and see what they're using. And generally they're using high quality software. So word of mouth is more important than ever, I think. Mm-hmm. In terms of keeping up with the field as a whole, outside of individual SaaS products, just keeping up with the field. There's a newsletter that I listen to, or I read. Don't Worry About the Vase by a guy called Zwei Imoshevitz, and he's a commentator on the AI landscape, and he's incredibly astute and incredibly observant and intelligent, and says very smart things about where we're headed, and talks about recent events, what models were released, what the difference was, why it's important. So when I'm keeping up with the landscape, just a number of models that are being released and changes in the landscape, that's where I go to. Don't worry about the vase.
What do you find frustrating as an AI native?
Essentially, I think the biggest frustration right now is that AI is used too drastically by everyone. So it's very difficult to find someone who uses AI for the good. For example, confident coder would know exactly what kind of component they want to generate using AI, and they have already loads of experience to work on. So all they do is that they integrate the new generated component in their previous workflows. But when someone new is coming to the market, all they do is that vibe code. So I think the vibe coding tool, even Bolt, has generated so many followers. It's an amazing tool, but I think it falls behind in terms of the quality of its customers. So I think as long as people are aware that AI is supposed to make you better, not you don't have to rely on AI, that will be much easier.
What's an obscure tool you like in the AI world?
Obscure tool.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. After seeing Tessl's demo today, right, it really gave me a new tool to think about and play about with, to be honest. Still very new to it. Only started with it today. I'm grateful that I got early access or closed beta access. And I was speaking to a couple of my colleagues today over Teams, and I was just like, this tool is amazing. I'm going to see if I can get you access as well, and we can play about with it a little bit.
How mature would you say the adoption of AI is at your current firm?
I would say it's still in the early stages. We are still in the process of trying to prove to the business the benefits that AI can bring. We have an AI working group, which we're working with, and it's also about the wider non-technical audience to give them the understanding of the overall value and how it can help the performance of the organization.
Are there metrics that you use to prove to enterprises the value of AI?
We are still trying to build that first through proof of concepts before we can even get to the metrics. It's about showing different data sets, what we can achieve from those data sets through the use of AI, and then we can put metrics on top of it.
As an AI developer, what's currently something that you find is misunderstood in our space?
We're trying to build these AI workflows using graphs, trying to model them as kind of graphs of prompts calling each other, and LangGraph being the canonical example here. A lot of the community has coalesced around that. But I find that approach is very restrictive and very limiting. It doesn't help to build durable AI workflows that work effectively, handle failure effectively due to network hiccups or servers crashing or network partitions or what have you. And it doesn't work well with managing deployments as well, because if you have a multi-agent system, as Anthropic recently noted, you need something like rainbow deployments in order to actually be able to deploy a change to the system in the middle of it running some complex workflow, so that the existing workflows continue on the existing code, but new workflows are now working with the new code. And I think more and more we're going to see these kinds of distributed systems engineering challenges being presented to us.